tonight, we kind of have a big agenda. Not too many items, but I think some of them are going to have a lot of commentary. Okay, community comments. Anybody have any comments or would like to say anything for non-agendized items? Okay.
I have a question about needing a sound wall on the freeway, because I'm part of the, yes, we need a freeway that goes down the hill, and we're having choppers going over our property, and you know they're coming in when the windows of your house start rattling, and they aren't following the freeway, they're just going right over our property, and my poor ostriches were like, what the heck's going on? And I can see the numbers on the choppers, and whenever I had my hand was flying all over the place. They were going on the average about 6 to 8 feet over our property. And it's just
6 feet?
6 to 8 feet
Oh.
over the property.
6 to 8 feet?
Yes, because I can
Do
see
you know
their
whose
gas
helicopters
tanks.
they were?
Some
Sheriff?
of them looks like
Edison?
sheriffs, and others are a black chopper. I don't know what it's from. But they go down and then do a quick U on the property, and then they go down through the canyon to follow the freeway. And that's been going on for the past 2 months. And I can't stand the windows in my house. When I'm sitting on my front porch, it's all and chopper coming in. And also the traffic on the freeway with all the trucks and everything else from like 8155 all the way up to the 7065.
I don't know what those numbers are.
They're the house numbers. They need some sort of sound wall, because it's just we got the sirens going, we got the choppers coming in, and we got all the increased traffic.
Now, where exactly on Escondido are you?
We're in the 8133, 815. As you go down towards the past Red Rover, it's past Red Rover, all those homes down
So
there down to the off ramp of Escondido Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're going south on the 14th freeway, we're on the left side, where all those homes through there, and that's where the choppers are coming down through.
Well, helicopters are by law not allowed to drop below 500. No.
200 feet ATL.
Well, these are, so I can read the numbers, and I can see the guys in there. and
Okay,
everything else.
is it possible for you to ever take a picture? Because the FAA will, they just need the tail number,
Oh, okay,
and a lot of them are GPSed, so
okay.
they'll have, because that is a violation of
Yeah, because I'm
a
saying
number
I'm
of federal
fortunate
laws, and maybe some
going
local.
over, right?
Also, I know the 14th freeway is slated for a sound wall all along where the high school is. I don't know how far south or west it goes.
Yeah, okay, because we're in the south, farther south.
Well, yeah, you're further west along the freeway, or south or whatever. So I don't know how far it extends along the southern boundary of the 14th freeway, but I do know that that's in the works, because we made that issue with high-speed rail to make sure that their sound accounted for that existing mitigation.
Because my animals have gotten used to, the choppers coming in and all the sirens and the traffic, but it's just when I'm on my property and I got stuff in my hands and it goes up in the air and dirt and dust and everything else are all over the place. It's getting a little ridiculous now.
And you think they're,
Some sheriffs, because they're green, and then there's the black choppers.
so why would Sheriff's Department be like flying
Sheriff's
so?
Department does not go that low.
So they don't.
At 500 feet, you can still read the numbers pretty clearly.
Okay.
They are prohibited by not only FAA, but department policy of going below that unless they're landing.
Yeah, I thought it was 500 feet.
But I can see the people in the top.
You can see it at 500.
Okay.
50 feet is from here to the wall.
Okay, well,
If they're that low, then,
they're really low, really super low.
yeah, they don't, I mean, I've never seen them that low.
Well, Edison helicopters did that all the time during construction of tri-tip, so
Yeah, if
it
they're
happens.
going- If it's a black helicopter, who knows who that belongs
Yeah, I don't
to?
know.
But there's tail, if you could get a picture and you call the FAA every time, keep a log, you gotta keep logs of these things.
All right.
And then also, maybe call the Sheriff's Department to say, I mean, maybe they could investigate, or Caltrans, or.
Yeah, now, there have been some brush fires up there, and the fire department has been doing water drops, and they will go below 500 feet to do a water drop. And they will pass right over the top of your house.
Yeah, these were, I don't know if they have.
And they have one white one, and the rest are yellow with white stripes on it. And they're very big.
If they're kicking up dust, they're too low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, at 200 feet, they don't kick up dust, so if you're actually getting dust kicked up. So, the FAA will act on that, by the way.
Yes, so I really urge you to keep a log, the date, time,
And,
what it looked like, if you have the tail number, how low it appeared to have gone.
because they should be transitioning in the Van Nuys Airport down the freeway corridor. They shouldn't be flying over your house.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right, well, thank you.
I mean, it's just,
Um,
yes.
Quick question. Are we missing more people on the council?
We have some changes, and we're going to be
Permanent?
making that announcement.
Are you going to do that tonight?
Going to do that tonight.
Oh,
Well, okay.
Okay?
Sure.
All right. Any other public comment? All right. Minutes of last meeting?
Since I was not at that meeting, Pam took notes.
Right, she's out.
And she's out.
Okay.
And we have a few more from before, and I've been
Right.
gone for a little over 2 weeks, so I haven't really had a chance. I just
Okay.
ran in the door.
All
So
right.
next
So-
meeting, I'll have everything that needs to be approved.
So do
I was
we-
ready to do March.
I'm sorry, we can do it if you're,
No, that's okay.
if you're ready to do
That's
it,
all right.
yeah.
We can table it for,
Yeah,
for
I know.
next
Because
meeting.
we do have March, April.
All right, we'll table it for the planning meeting. And no treasurer's report tonight. No Pam. And Deputy Short.
Good evening, everybody. Just to add one thing, on low-flying aircraft, you need to call the sheriff's station, because if there's one of our birds close by, if it's somebody from like a helicopter school and they're doing ground hover and stuff they're not supposed to, we'll send a car out, and if we see it, we actually write a citation and notify the FAA for low-flying aircraft. We actually cover that, yeah.
Okay.
And our Aero Bureau has the charter with the FAA to investigate not only aircraft accidents, but low flies and people who are doing things, aerobatics where they're not supposed to. I've seen them come out and chase somebody all the way to an airport and land alongside of them and take them into custody, so I know it does work. All right, let's see. I understand that from my counterparts, I've been gone for the last 2.5 weeks, so I have just put the stuff together for the week, but I talked to the guys who were out here, and apparently it was nice and quiet for the last couple of weeks, which is good. Last month, we had a total of 34 incidents resulting in reports, which is down from the month before, and the month before, and the month before. We had 3 burglaries, residential burglaries. 2 of them were with no force and 1 was unknown. And then we had 2 burglaries to other structures, sheds. And we had 1 drunk in public, just over here. Let's see. 1 grand theft, 2 petty thefts, 4 5150 committals. And we had 4 ID theft and forgeries, 1 miscellaneous misdemeanor crime, 7 vehicle misdemeanor crimes, and those are things about driving on a suspended license, driving with no license, those are all considered misdemeanors. 2 misdemeanor vandalisms, 2 suspected child abuse, 1 assault with a deadly weapon, 1 non-criminal elder abuse, 1 grand theft motorcycle, 1 domestic violence, and 1 non-criminal domestic violence. And that brings us to 34. And the stats for the year, we are ahead of last year on certain categories like burglaries, and which we all know about those. We We've had 21 burglaries in the last 3 months and 12 grand thefts or thefts in the last 3 months compared to last year. We had, well, actually year to date, we had 13 thefts and 17 burglaries. So we are a little higher with that. Overall, we had an overall increase in crime by 43% over last year. So, and most of those were the commercial burglaries that we've had. That my understanding is they have identified most of the players, and they're working on the search warrants and everything else because it is out of county. It takes a little bit more to go out there and go round them up. But they're all those people that I've told you about in previous meetings. So we have pictures, we have DNA, we've got all sorts of stuff. So hopefully next meeting we'll have some arrests to announce. So that's a good thing. Anybody have any questions? Other than it is hot out, take precautions, drink lots of water, and other than that, unless you've got anything else on. No other questions, huh? All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, library reports.
Hello, everybody. Just to touch on the last thing Deputy Short said about the heat, if you are in need of any kind of heat related to cool down or anything, this library is a designated cooling center this summer. So come on by during our open hours. We have free air conditioning. And that is expensive. Okay, goings on in the library. June 1st started our summer reading program. We have programs available for toddlers and babies, children, teens and adults, different programs for everybody. There are online components as well. The adult program is all online. You can log on, do book reviews, and get prizes. Kids, teens, and babies, it's online as well, but we also have an in-house game going on for that. So come on and check that out. It's going all the way through August 12th, so you'll hear me talk about that next month. June 1st started a great new program that our new library director has been pushing for since she started out. It's the Great Read Away. It's an opportunity for kids and young adults 21 and under to read away their library fines. So if they owe any money whatsoever on their card, they can come in, they check in with a staff member, they spend some time reading, and we will clear library fees up to $5 an hour off of their account.
Wow, nice. That is nice.
So it's a wonderful program. I've already had some people taking advantage of it, and this is 4 days old. 5 days old. We were closed one of those days for Sunday. So it's a great program. If you know someone, tell them to come and take advantage of it. Those are the big things we got going on. Throughout the month, we have a bunch of good programming going on in summer, so we're trying to get people to come on in. This Saturday, I have a Japanese flower arranging program. You can come on in. I've got a woman here. She will bring all kinds of floral supplies and everything, and you will be able to make your own arrangements and take it home with you.
This Saturday?
This Saturday, the 10th. If you would like to come, make sure you come on in and chat with staff because you do have to sign up with it. Space is limited. Other things going on. We've got programs for kids, like they can come in and check out. I've got insects and little acrylic displayers. They can make buttons, customized buttons. I've got a family game day coming up. Let's see here, Thursday, June 22nd. Come on in. I'm going to have all kinds of board games and everything. Come on in with the family, some friends, play some games, enjoy the free air conditioning as described. I've got a flyer in the back that has all of the programs going on, quite a bit for this month. Feel free to review. Oh, one more thing that I've got going on. End of the month, we have our Adult 101 program. It's a program for teens. It's on June 28th. It's the Adult 101 series. It's a series geared for getting teens ready to adult, ready to become adults. What I've got at the end of this month is I've got a gentleman coming in. He will do a talk about financial awareness for teens, teaching them about credit cards, debit cards, how to balance a checking account, difference between loans and everything that will help them hopefully become responsible adults. Other than that, that's the big stuff I've got going on. Do you have any questions? You can ask me now or catch me later.
Yes, are you promoting that last call you talked about, are you promoting that in the journal, so people are aware of that?
Yes, I gave Lillian a whole sheet, and it's on that last one I emailed you. I don't.
Not the last thing you talked about,
The Adult 101?
did I understand you to say that there's a forgiveness of fines?
That just started. I haven't, the fine forgiveness just started, so I don't, that hasn't been emailed out yet.
My children can come.
Okay.
But the Adult 101 for teens to come in and learn about financial awareness.
Oh, that I've got.
Yeah, that was on this,
already.
yeah.
Okay, is that what you're referring
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
Okay.
This.
I think that's great.
Yeah, this, it just opened, I've just been, these have just been put in my hands. So I can give you one right now if you'd like.
Okay, that's great. I'll take any information that needs to get passed on.
Okay. And I've been sent them. Anything else? All right, well, if you think of something, just flag me down and let me know.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, announcements and correspondences. We'll start with some of the council changes that are happening. Larry Layton, who came in November, has resigned. He sent me, I talked to him today. He was very concerned about the amount of time he had available, not being able to pull his weight. Talked about the school district and all the things they're going through, and he thought that he wanted to put his energy over there. So Larry is stepping down. I want to thank him for the service he did provide, and I think we're going to miss kind of his alternate view on a lot of the things that we talk about. So
What is the effective date of his
effective date is today.
Today?
Okay. And also, the same goes with John Farrar. John Farrar has been trying to do at the same time. He's got a full teaching schedule, and he's kind of offered to stick with us writing this column. So we're going to be working with them as an individual, not as a council person.
Also,
And,
as of today.
actually, I'll get you the effective date on that. That was a while ago. I've been kind of trying to entice them to stick around, so I'll give you the official date. We have Ruth Brock, who's going to step forward and join us, and also Russ Fox. And the next agenda item, we'll talk about that, and hopefully we'll. Yeah.
I mean, I knew that Ruth,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay, so we'll get somebody to raise a motion and see if we can't get that taken care of for today.
Later.
Next agenda item.
Okay.
Okay. And you have anything, Jackie, that you want to announce?
Well, there are some things from the board, from the Planning Commission. It's hearing tomorrow. Alan Laslovich's tentative map is being extended. Obviously, I think, we've supported that project in the past. I'm a little disappointed that they have to be extended, because that means it's not done yet, which is a little surprising. And then also the application for the paintball that was submitted some 2007 or 8, operation down, I think near where they have the mud run. That is, I guess that's being recommended for denial due to inactivity. So that's that's correspondence from the board. Is Sigma on the agenda?
No, but we can, if you have Sigmund, we can put it into the.
Well, we did get a correspondence on that from AVEC.
Okay.
But we can talk about that later if it's on the agenda. If it isn't, I can.
We can put that in the, we have public utilities and works, public works and utilities, we can talk about that.
Oh, okay, all right, no, that's fine. And then there's a whole slew of communications from the county, but that can come up under the ATC.
Okay.
The whole wall of ordinances coming at us fast.
Lovely. Okay. Kelly, anything from you? you guys, any announcements or correspondences? Okay. All right, then we'll move on to number 9. So Ruth and Russ Fox have both expressed interest to join the council, and I think they have, they're going to offer some great experience for us. Ruth is very good dogging the issues. She doesn't let anybody slip away, and she's got a very organized way about taking care of things, and I think it'd be great and valuable to us. And thank you, Ruth, for stepping forward. We know that Ruth wanted to work from the outside as much as possible, but I think it's going to be more beneficial for us to join us. And Mr. Fox, also the same thing. His issue was originally came to the council with the rent control possibilities for the mobile homes, and he did a very, very efficient job of getting petitions and getting that in front of us. And I think he's very driven on those issues, and he says he's also has other issues in the community that he wants to help out with, so I think that's going to be fantastic. So
I'd like to make a motion.
you would like to make a motion?
I
Okay.
second it.
You want to hear from either of these applicants before we make a motion?
Suppose we can, we have a full agenda.
Okay,
We-
quick 1 line, 2 lines,
Happy to serve.
okay?
Also,
Perfect. All right.
One order even.
All right, go Jackie.
So I'll make a motion that we seat both of them last week.
Okay,
I second it.
1 second, okay. Any further discussion? We'll wait for Kelly to write it. It's actually today, not last week.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, I know, sorry. Yeah, well, we're down to 6 members now, so
Yes, we
not
have
for
a
long.
quorum, okay.
We're back up to 8 in a second.
That's good, we need it. Okay, Jackie Air made a motion that we seat both Ruth Brock and Russ Fox today, June 5th. Should I say the date?
Yep.
Okay.
I wouldn't be smiling if I were you. You don't feel the weight.
Is that what you say?
I think so.
Okay,
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 all
Angela.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Okay, the motion carries, so Ruth and Russ, why don't you come on up and take a seat?
Italian's on the board now.
So the appointment is good, yes?
Just quick, as far as Ruth's committee on the Acton takes action, does that change its status, or is Ruth going to, on the Acton takes action, are you going to maintain that as an independent, separate thing? So,
Because I've always been the chair of that committee overseeing that action.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Because I've been the Acton Town Council chair, under which that was done as a separate body.
Right.
But as a chair of the committee, I've been attending her meetings.
So Jackie was liaison for the town
Right, that's the
council.
right word, that's
Right,
totally
but-
right word.
Okay.
But we had wanted to separate and distance the,
Right.
but I don't foresee it being a problem.
Well, we can talk about that under committees and see if we want to change the structure of anything. I'm not sure we need to.
You
but-
mean like that I would have to step down and Acton takes action?
No,
No,
that
no,
we
no,
would
no.
move you to the liaison
Oh, yeah,
and maybe
yeah.
have somebody else be the official chair, or I don't know if that's necessary, I don't think it is, but it's probably worthy of discussion just to make sure it still works properly.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking.
The lines are right.
It's proper.
Exactly. So appointments are good till the end of the term, which is November, when Russ and all of us almost, I believe, have to run for re-election.
Yeah.
And we need to look at the
No,
calendar.
you don't.
I don't, I'm still good.
You don't.
Jackie doesn't?
And Pam doesn't.
And Pam doesn't, okay. So, we're getting close, but not that, we've looked at that in October, is that right?
No, we have to start doing that in August.
In August, okay.
Yeah.
Soon, real soon.
Nah.
Yeah, we
Around
look
the
at the, look at
We need to figure
look
out
at
the
rules
timeline.
again, yes, and the timeline again.
So we still have one open seat, so we can keep the request out there. Okay, film permits in Film LA. Chris Croysdale has been, it's been his big issue since he's been directly affected by a lot of the filming that goes on. And I think, you know, the filming's a mixed bag. I think a lot of people like to see Acton in TV and movies and stuff, but sometimes they get a little pushy and it gets a little inconvenient. So Chris has been doing a lot of talking with Film LA, which is the agency which is responsible for pulling permits from the county. I think I got that right. So we're going to talk about making Chris the official liaison to the town council on film permits and filming in Acton. So you want to come up and...
Yeah. So, if anyone didn't hear it 2 years ago, I woke up about 8:30, 9 o'clock to a rape and murder scene being filmed next door to my house from 8 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning. I had my 9-year-old daughter who was 7 at the time there. And that kind of put me on, you know, what was going on with filming. When I called the sheriff's department out, and Deputy Short will verify that, they came out, they thought it was a noise disturbance, but when they're filming, they're gonna yell action. It lasts for 5 minutes, and then they've got another hour of prep, and then it's action again. So the sheriff's department was there for about 15 minutes, as they didn't hear noise. They weren't aware that filming in Acton, even on private property, requires a permit, so they didn't write them up for anything. They left. I had to put up with this through the rest of the night. So that kind of put me on their radar. So we did have a meeting about 2 years ago. Most of the council members were there with Sheriff Department, Film LA, Public Works. At that time, Public Works, I asked them, why are they continually shutting down Soledad Canyon with no notification? And we have all this extra traffic going down through Crown Valley in the mornings. Public Works said, in 5 years, we've never authorized them to close Soledad Canyon. Sheriff Deputy Short decided, pitched in and says, well, we work there at least once a month closing that canyon road down. So there was a big miscommunication. And with that said, when I called Film LA, they did not have a direct access to an after-hours person to complain about filming. So since then, they put a big button on their website, which has helped. Public Works is now limited filming on Soledad Canyon, where they can pull their permit and get prepped in the morning, but they can't close Soledad from 5 in the morning till generally 8 in the morning. So all the Palmdale traffic goes through. It doesn't shut down the busing and everything else. And they also have limited it from 3 to 6 in the evening, so the return traffic. So it's made some good headway there, but recently what they're doing, and one of the big issues is that I'm trying to get some general standards, at least for the filming, because it's not gonna stop. I don't see any way for us to stop it. But they've got a standard right now for Los Angeles County, and some of the rules that I don't agree with is they only have to notify people within 300 feet of their filming. And when it comes down to that, in Acton, that works great in the city because that's a city block. You won't hear the noise. In Acton, 300 feet, my driveway is twice that. You can hear it for a mile. There are also notifications. They've been saying, well, when I complained to them, I got notice Friday night at 6 o'clock that you're going to start filming on Sunday. They says, well, their explanation to me from Film LA, who's a non-for-profit hired by the county, their explanation to me was, well, filming is a very fluid type of business, and they need to have the ability to pull permits fast or change permits whenever they need to. So with that said, I've been able to get put on their emailing list of permits. Friday I was notified there's a film starting Tuesday in the area. This morning, this afternoon, I was notified today at 2 o'clock that they started prepping this morning and they're gonna start filming tomorrow over by the horse arena. I've never been down in that area, but it's a baseball diamond. When I looked on Google Earth, it's behind Thousand Trails off of Crown Valley. And the big thing for me is they put on there that they're gonna be doing aerial photography. And I told them, you know that we're an equestrian area, and when you're flying these drones and doing aerial photography for 10 hours, people can get blocked off. I know my horse is going completely crazy when someone's flying a drone around the area. Last week, one of the big issues, or 2 weeks ago, I was fighting with them. They were gonna film at, I don't know if you know the little gas station ranch that's on Soledad Canyon. So they sent out a permit that they were gonna film from 10 at night till 7 in the morning with gunshots.
And actually, their permit did not allow that, that's just what they said they
Yes.
were going to do.
And that's the one you were aware of. What they did is that one there, they backed down on, and they didn't do the gunshots. And then Film LA 3 days later went ahead and changed it and says, no, you can go ahead and do gunshots only at the ranch. They reduced it to half loads, but when they set up their lighting, it was not at the ranch filming area, it was up on top of their hill, and their lighting projected out 2 miles. And I live in a nice area, I have no curtains on any of my windows. So the lights shined in my house all night, they shined in the other neighbors' houses all night. The half-load gunshots, I physically couldn't hear them, but my dogs could. So my dogs woke me up. I had 3 records that night. One was at 10:30 at night, one was at 2 in the morning, and one was at 3:30 in the morning. And the dogs, when they hear gunshots, are gonna bark all night. I don't know about the rest of yours.
This needs to not be allowed, gunshots
Yeah.
at night.
The other issues that happened at the same time was that they put up roadwork signs, and Soledad Canyon's been worked on for how many months now with all the public works. And what they do, they set up their roadwork signs, and then at night, we'll turn them to the side or put them off the side of the road so it doesn't desensitize the drivers to what's going on. They set up roadwork signs because he's on a blind curve, and they left him up for a week, straight through the nights, straight through the days. And then they called me and says, we're missing 4 signs, you know where they are? And I says, yeah, well, you put one of them right in front of the mailboxes that everyone couldn't get to their mailbox. I was literally in the turnoff in front of the mailboxes. And I saw another person get out, I won't say who it was, and they threw it off in the bushes. So,
Go hunt.
there's no standardization. Public Works is doing their best, but they have no one after hours to call. The Sheriff's Department, when I called 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I understand that, you know, we're already limited on how much help we have with the Sheriff's Department, but they had a fatality accident, and they says, we really can't even return it, you know, get out there. And that was an illegal film shoot that was happening down Bootlegger. They had pulled a permit to work at one residence, and then were filming on 20 acres, crossing illegally across other people's properties up on a hill. And they were gonna go through the night, and I got Film LA to actually come out on a Friday night at 11 o'clock and shut them down. They didn't even have a permit.
So they had a permit though for one spot,
They
we're
had a
filming in
permit for
another.
the one spot, we're filming in another.
Well, at least they responded to that, that's,
They did, and it took a lot of phone calls late at night. Even the permit right now where they did the gunshots, they've been filming, I forget the name of it, he's called it a ranch.
Middleton Ranch.
Middleton Ranch. The permit is pulled for the wrong address.
right.
So the wrong address is on there. So there's no standardization. And Deputy Short, you can, you know, tell me if you think it, but, you know, they've got on here and it says, you know, when we've got issues, people are gonna get angry. But they don't have us calling you. They say, call the location manager. It's like saying your neighbor's pointing a gun at you, go talk to him, tell him not to do that. And these people have financial gain, so why are they really gonna help us? They just try to appease things and put things over. So, you know, with that said, I've had a lot of, you know, pretty direct emails going off to Film LA. Public Works, I've been calling and hounding them about their signs, and they said, well, no, they're not supposed to leave signs out. When I called the guy, and he says, oh yeah, we accidentally left them out over the weekend. So there's no
Is there,
things
so,
going on. They're just
now,
putting it together.
Film LA you said is hired by the county, so maybe we could ask the county to start fining them when they do these
Well,
things, or?
here's one of the other things too, is I don't know if anyone else has ever gotten these. They leave them on your mailboxes and they blow away in the 20-mile-an-hour winds. Then on Friday, when I really was giving them a big stink, this was the one here where they were gonna film 5:30 through 6/7 with half-load single-shot gunfire on all property.
Wait, 5:30 till when?
It was May 30th till June 7th, and they did it. This is the
All
one
day,
that-
all night?
After we had done it, and they backed down. 3 days later, this was issued, but they set out for this filming survey. Film LA did it, and they taped it to all our mailboxes. In front of the doors, on the sides, half of them blown away. Most people in our area don't even use their mailbox, they have P.O. boxes.
Right.
So their notification process is really not working either, and when I told them about it, they just says, well, you know, maybe you can take everyone's emails down and we can call you and you can go distribute stuff. So I got a little angry at that, so I went ahead and I called the Postal Service and Postal Inspector and also the post office here, and I brought photographs of this stuff blown all over the place, taped to the mailbox, and then I told them about violation of section 1725 of Title 18 United States Code, domestic mail. No one can deposit any mail inside of a federal mailbox once you've installed your mailbox. It's considered federal property. And then they argued with me about, not the post office, but Film LA did, and I said, furthermore, section D041 states no part of a mail receptacle may be used to deliver any matter not bearing postage, including items of matter placed upon, supported on, attached to, hung from, inserted in, or taped to. So it was a federal offense, and now the post office is going after Film LA. So maybe the county will get some of these fines, $5,000 a pop, and we'll see how it goes. If I get any retribution, I expect some support.
Well, wasn't there some, you wanted, or my recollection was the Film LA wanted some letter from the town council saying that you're our liaison.
Well, what happened was I was on from before when I was president of the council, and then they didn't take me off. And then I've been dealing a lot with the Film LA, Antelope Valley representative. And she's been helpful, but her hands are tied at some point. And what happened was her boss started saying, well, who's Chris Croziel, and why are we giving him these emails? And I says, well, I just kind of put my name out there. I said, I'm kind of the liaison, I'm kind of communicating between here, and I'm kind of looking at the area there. And so he kind of demanded, well, is this an official position?
Well, and I sent the email.
And that's when I says, well, I'll get a letter from the council if I can. And that's when I submitted it to you guys if you would sign that. And I'll keep the pressure on them because, you know, it just seems like nobody else is. And they just show up and do what they want, when they want. There was another illegal film shoot, and he basically blocked our entire road, bootlegger, to get into our property, and then put his finger up. And it turns out Jonathan Trevelyan then confronted him, took down our license plate number, sent him a demand letter for $10,000 in fines, and he's going after them for this. But there's a lot of other things that I've been finding out now too, going through, since they want to throw codes back at me. There is a law out there that basically talks about our notification. It basically states, is a law that states that we have the right to peaceful enjoyment of our property.
That's right.
And when that's violated, there's also, and I've been talking to a few attorneys of mine, and they're looking up for the codes right now, where basically there's a daily fine for us not getting our peaceful enjoyment. So it may come down to where when they film and they disrupt 10 homeowners for 4 days, then all of us have the right to, if it's $500 a day, we can all file a small claim for $2,000 a pop for each and every instance, $500 a day. So I'm looking into those statutes. I also found another one, an ordinance for the County of Los Angeles that specifically states that they are supposed to mail through regular postage all these notifications. So Film LA, the county has these ordinances, and Film LA trying to expedite things is not abiding by that. It also said in that ordinance, and I've got some attorneys looking to make sure I'm reading it properly, it said that we have 14 days to respond. If that's so, then how are they issuing permits, like the one I got today saying they're setting up today and starting to film tomorrow without any proper notification? So I think Film LA is pulling out the ordinances that help them and avoiding all the others. And so these are all just rough notes. I mean, just some of the stuff, you know, it says right in there that none of the lighting is supposed to leave any of their sets and parking areas. It does all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially here because of the
Oh,
hills
it's
and the lights
horrible.
rolling.
It's horrible. Blinding.
Yeah, the noise leaves. I told them before that that's a blind corner. They shouldn't have those lights up because it was blaring. And I don't know if it was the cause of it or not, but about 6 days ago, when they were filming, there was 2 highway patrol there, and I was coming home about 9:30 at night, and a car had rolled over about 6 times and was blocking Soledad Canyon. Were you aware of that accident?
I've heard about it.
Yeah, so the car had rolled over several times, right in front of their set within 100 yards.
Well, you know, I think, certainly I would support this letter, but I think we need to do something more. I think that we as a council, if you want to have other people start a committee and we can work on it. We need to sort of set forth some ground rules, and one of them in my mind is, see, especially with some of the break-ins that we've had, with even shotguns being involved, gunshots at night in a community that doesn't know about filming, that's a bad idea. Well, gunshots anytime, but particularly at night, because you can't see.
Well,
so that's one of the things I think we need to set down, some very basic things that this community needs if they're going to use it for filming.
Well,
lights being another one.
And so, this is some of the other issues that I'm looking into, the legality of it and what our position would be, because within those county ordinances, it also states that there's a clause in there that the county is supposed to also make sure that filming doesn't happen continuously, whereas it becomes a commercial nuisance. Okay, so all of this property is owned agricultural, it's all A2 out here, but they've allowed this person here to build, and other people have a movie ranch. It's zoned agricultural. It's never been changed to commercial, and now instead of a filming company coming in and filming once in a neighborhood, and you say, oh, I remember they filmed last year, this was cool. We're getting these 3 and 4 times a week, and they've now taken an agricultural piece of property, built commercial sets on it. Middleton Ranch, when I looked up online, I'm gonna go there and look, but it says the only thing that was permitted was a 1965 house there. So that gas station, all the stuff they built has never been permitted, and now they've turned their agricultural property into a commercial film site, and the county is turning a blind eye to it because they're making money off these permits.
So who, okay, Public Works, obviously, that's easy to understand. They're the ones who issue the traffic permit, blockage, whatever. But what county entity oversees filming that we?
Film LA.
No, but they are not county employees. They're not responsible to elected officials, the board.
From what I
So
understand,
what
Film
agency
LA,
within the county?
Film LA reports directly to the Board of Supervisors.
Sorry, well,
I'm thinking maybe possibly licensing, but I'm not sure. I'll find
okay,
out.
because that's, we need to reach out and touch the county people to set, okay, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I think we need to set some standards.
I personally, as a,
It's separate from the rules.
I know,
laws
but
that-
as a larger thing, I would like to see some standards for Acton. I would like to
Right.
see no filming past 10 o'clock myself,
I-
unless it's indoors.
I
If
don't
it's
understand
indoors,
the gunshots. To me, they can do all that in post. I don't even know why that's necessary.
I don't know. Here's the other thing, is some of the people are lying. Actually, Film LA told me, I said, did you notify Shambhala Preserve? And they said, they're on our notification list. And I'm thinking, okay, your notification process is
Hanging
already
on the
failed.
tiger cage?
So I called Chris Bellucci over there, and Chris says, absolutely not. We have never been notified. We know nothing about this. So then he had to call them and make sure they weren't doing gunshots during their feeding times. Because if a tiger gets startled, someone's gonna get eaten. Other than, so, you know, it's just a lot of stuff that's been going on there, and I'm trying to get more of a package put together. At the same time, it's overwhelming me just communicating with all these people every day, fixing things.
Well, that's why I think we should find the county person and then have them.
Yeah, I mean, but I personally would like to see no filming outdoors past 10 o'clock, just because of the noise and the lights that goes on. You know, gunshots and stuff needs to be taken care of. I'd like to see longer notifications. I don't care how fluid their business is, they need to plan ahead. You know, this 2-day notice stuff gives no one any time to respond. They sent out this little filming survey, so I made copies of it and went around to all of my neighbors, and I got a hold of 7 of them. 6 out of 7 were against it and filled this out. By the time Monday came around, I went to do it, the permit was issued and they were filming. So I still have these in hand to sign. The one person that was for it told me, and he's been in here before, and he's a nice guy, everyone's entitled to their opinion, I don't get mad about that, but it was just funny. He says, well, I'm all for it. And I said, do you work for the film industry? He goes, no, but they filmed here once and it paid my property taxes for the whole year. And I'm listed on the filming website, and I don't care what the say. If they can come here and film, I want them to. So, you know, it comes down to where if you have financial gain, you don't care about your neighbors, you can be for this.
Well, that's what's nice about standards, because then it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on,
Yeah.
they're what everybody has to comply with.
So another filming that just happened about a week ago, I don't know if you saw when they used the old country, Acton Country Market for filming that day. Did anyone see that? So they had it, and they went in and they rented the whole building. I got a copy of the permit. Now, it's not in my area, but I still, try to think out of the box. And I says, well, if they're renting, because I own shopping centers, and just because all this parking's in front of the market, it doesn't mean that none of it is slotted for the other businesses. Because that whole shopping center, since they're connected, they'll say you have this much square footage, you need this many parking spaces. So they came in and rented the store and the parking lot, and I says, now how are anyone else going to get in, since that's the entrance? It's a one-way parking lot to the rest of the stores. Number two, if those are the handicap spaces in that area, how are anyone that needs handicap spaces going to occupy or use it? So they came and they says, okay, we'll leave it open. So they did, they left it open, but then they took up all the parking on the street because they were supposed to also be parked on private property. So now there was no parking in the center. There was the 5 places in front of the pharmacy, and there was no parking on the street. So again, they just come in, do what they want, just kind of plow over you. But I'm trying to get some standards. If anyone else wants to pitch in and give you their opinions, I mean, we can try to come to a happy median. But I know that the filming that's going on in the Ravina area is just
I don't know.
Yeah, it's taken over.
So are you willing to put a committee together and kind of
I
share
would do that. I mean,
we have your letter here.
okay.
Well,
I mean, I resigned last year because I had some health issues, but I've had 2 surgeries and some other tune-ups done. I'm feeling like I'm getting my energy back. I'm ready to fight some more. Yeah, the shoulder works, the knee works, the back's feeling better.
You can carry the load now.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's just being able to be on that list and then read what they're gonna do, because it's such a short period of time. And this is what they're doing. This one here just said, location 6021 Soledad Canyon Road, film dates 5/11 to 6/7, 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m., added date 6/8.
5/11 to 6/7, that's a month.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing over there over a month. Half-load gunfire, added gunfire dates. When they want to make a change, they'll call it in, they'll get this printed out, and within 2 hours, the change permit is approved and they're off and running.
Phil Malay approves it.
Phil Malay approves it.
So I'd like to make a motion that we establish Chris as our point person, and that we follow up with the development of some sort of standards that we can coordinate with whoever it is, the licensing department or whoever.
I'll find out which
Okay.
agency oversights them for you.
Because then we can have, if somebody seconds it, we can have discussions.
I did also put a call into Catherine Barger's office trying to get an appointment, and I thought then at that point I'd have this together and maybe some of you might want to come and we can sit down and talk to her about it, because like I said, we're just, especially that one ordinance where I found where it says it shouldn't be a repetitive type of business where it becomes a commercial filming site.
Well, that's another big thing that we would really need to think about how we approach that. I see that as a huge big deal, which is different from standards.
Right, well, film ranches in this area are pretty established.
What all I'm saying is that it's already an ordinance, they're just not enforcing it.
Right.
And I'm just trying to pull out more of what is already in the law that just isn't being
This
enforced.
is being implemented, yep.
Who did you speak with at Supervisor Barger's office?
You know what, I just called the downtown LA office and
Yeah,
I
I
left a
hadn't
message.
heard about it, that's why I was asking.
Okay.
Do we have a second? For Justin's motion?
I'll second.
Okay. So we have Ruth in a second.
I know Angela had wanted to comment on that.
Oh, I would just like to, to see that communication is kept open with, what, I agree with a lot of the, complaints and dissatisfaction that you have with some of the items, but then on the other hand, we're, just the communication in terms of with the town council and what, what regulations or what you're seeking to implement, I guess would, I'd like to know.
Well, as it is right now, I have not seek to implement anything except get them to enforce their own ordinances and codes, which are written. And any communications I've had via email has all been CC'd to the Acton Town Council. So,
And this letter is one that just says, see, the film people didn't want to send him any more notices, so
Jackie,
sent an email.
I can read the letter.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
Chris wrote the letter, and this is for us to approve and sign. This letter is to reiterate the fact that Christopher A. Croysdale, a resident of Acton, California, located within the unincorporated area of Los Angeles County, is liaison to the Acton Town Council regarding commercial filming operations in our town. Please include him and others listed below on all notifications of permits for filming in our town. And the notification list is Christopher A. Croysdale, Acton Town Council General Mailbox, which is the ATC at actontowncouncil.org. Tom Costin, Acton Town Council President. And for road closure permits, please also include Lillian Country Journal. So,
And we should have Acton Agudelo signatures in
and
that.
the Acton Agudelo signature, yeah, it's this.
And I haven't seen any of those emails back and forth to the town council.
So they're in the town council website, or email address, or.
Yeah, they're coming through
Okay.
daily.
yeah.
I see them.
The first few, I think I created a folder for film permits, and I moved 3 or 4 of them in, but that was over a month ago. I haven't done any of that.
Yeah, and what I am going to start doing is now they're starting to call me, some of these gentlemen, the one guy looking for his signs, and then I spoke to him about the lights, and he did redirect them, but again, if no one speaks to these people, and the county and no one has any employees out in the evening when they are filming, there's no one to say anything. And so with those, I can keep also a paper trail and then just CC you with an email saying this conversation took place on this time and date. Just so there's a good paper trail and a good folder for everything that's going on.
Well, just so I understand, your concern, Angela, would be him representing the town council's position on certain things without having.
Right,
oversight.
without
Okay.
having it.
Well, and that's
discussion
why I
or-
think these standards would be really useful, because then it's already,
I
you
agree.
know, so then we wouldn't have to worry about it, but I understand what you're saying.
And discussing those standards, you know, as part of that, I think would.
And once I finish this other investigation, the standards may already be in place. We may just have to try to get them to enforce them.
Right.
Right.
I mean, if it's already saying we need 14 days notification, that's wonderful, that's perfect, that's not what they're doing.
The stuff with the gunshots, that's probably not in the ordinance, so.
No, and the helicopter flying
Oh.
is really bad. I had a party at my house 2 years ago, and one of the guys brought out one of those little, I don't know what you call them now, the drones, and the horses went completely crazy, and it was not only my house, it was 2 neighbors, I mean, it was almost a half mile away, as he was flying it around. So I can see people getting hurt if they go and do this at a park, and then, I don't know how many horses are out there, but I think there's quite a few. So it's
Well,
just.
it's just not your area too, it's,
No, I would try to keep an eye on everyone's area
Right.
from the mine on Soledad all the way up. So I stop and ask every one of them for the permit.
Kelly, can you read that motion back?
I sure can. Actually, Jackie, I added a couple of things
That's fine.
to clarify. Jackie Air made a motion to establish Chris Croisdale as the point person regarding commercial filming in Acton and put together standards for filming. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
Okay. Brock seconded.
And then we could discuss the standards at our planning meeting. We can put that on the planning meeting agenda.
Or if he gets a committee together.
Or you could put a committee together, you
and
can
then
meet
make
outside and
recommendations.
then come in
Yeah.
and report, yeah.
I'd like to see, you know, I'd like to see it put out there to the community, for, you know, for more community input as well.
Right.
I mean, if Lillian wants to put down, I probably wouldn't want to put down my personal numbers. I have enough going on with work, but I do have an alternate number that I could give, and it would actually, people could leave messages there, and it would email it to me. We could put that down and say anyone with any issues or comments on filming or have had issues in the past.
Well, why, if you're gonna do a committee meeting, you can have let's have a meeting and you know.
But I don't, I mean, how are we gonna get the committee members unless you want me
Well,
to?
no, but
That would be-
this would be soliciting input, or our first meeting's like, you know, June 12th or whatever.
Okay.
And I suggested you to both the Country Journal and the Acton News.
That's fine, I just didn't.
And if you want, we can make it part of our planning meeting.
Oh, and
It's
AV
time,
Press
space
if you
for it.
want.
Or you can
Sorry,
do it outside.
Julie.
What do you want to do? You want to give that number now?
Yeah, if you like.
Okay.
So we gonna vote?
Anybody
Yep.
prepared to take numbers?
So you're okay with the limitations in the motion? Because it seems like you're a little worried that,
That would be,
that Chris may make policy that other people may not. be aware of.
526.
I think that's your concern.
Well,
2994.
Do you want
You
to
know,
amend the
just-
motion, I guess?
No, I just
Oh.
want, you know, there to be communication between, you know, between him and the council, and also I'd like to see more, I'd like to see it put out there for community input.
Can you make
I wrote that.
reports at each meeting?
I could.
We can put you on the agenda and
I probably, I mean, I think at each meeting it might be much, but I would.
you can
maybe
do it
just
written
once a
form too.
month.
and we
Well,
can-
each meeting, we only have one formal meeting a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the
First
formal meeting.
Monday of the month.
And that's the first Monday of each month?
Yes,
That
We
would be
can, we
great.
can make that amendment, so everybody's kept in the loop.
I'll accept that amendment.
Okay, so
So,
what do we gotta do?
Chris will give an official report on the first meeting of every month.
Okay.
Now, I have a problem, I don't know why Acton is always considered an afterthought. I mean, we don't get the respect that other cities do. And, I mean, I've been fighting this with the industrial storage properties. The county just sort of blows off
Ordinance?
their own code. They don't even enforce their own code to the fullest. And now with Film LA, it's the same thing. It's like they just figure we're just supposed to roll over because we're supposed to be country bumpkins and don't care.
Well,
We got 5 acres, we're not gonna care.
unfortunately, we're in the studio zone, so they can get out here and film within a 30-mile radius mostly, so that's what makes it so popular.
But that doesn't mean they shouldn't comply with the
I
rules.
agree 100%, but that's what drives
Well, then they're asking him to come up with emails for all these neighbors. I say,
No.
put me on, I would say, Chris, I would tell them, put me on payroll, I'll be glad to do that for you.
Or
$800 an hour.
or give them the formula and let them task.
What I'll do is I'll
it.
tell them to put me on payroll, except the entire check would be written out to the Acton Town Council. If they want to give me $1,000 a month, I'll put the extra time in, $1,000 a month can come to the town
Well,
council.
Well, we'd have
We'll
to
start a war chest and fight them some more. So,
All right, let's get a vote on this motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. I would like to see these film companies start maybe contributing to our schools, contributing to our Boy Scouts, doing something for our community for putting us through this. And they should do it voluntarily, you know, and,
They're not gonna do it unless you ask them.
well, of course we have to ask, but hey, what are you gonna do for us? I mean,
I was told the only person that came to
Not till
school
after the
film
standards are developed.
and made a donation to the school, and I don't, this is all hearsay, was Clint Eastwood. I heard that he made a donation to the schools when he was filming there. So
I mean, it would just be nice if they recognize the fact that we get nothing from this, other than an occasional
Nothing.
autograph, which is worthless.
Well, the one homeowner
Or the one
gets
homeowner.
paid,
Yeah.
that's
Right, but that
agreed to
doesn't
let them use
benefit
the
the
land.
community.
But that whole, is it Middleton branch?
Milton, right?
I don't understand how they can build a set there without permits. How's that happen?
Well, it's not, they've taken agricultural land and built a commercial business on it. And I'm not saying they need to go away. What I'm saying is the county is allowing things like this to transpire. And if there's this ordinance that I read, and it says that they can't allow repeated business to you know, interfere with people's lives and turn this into a commercial set, then this is exactly what's happening to Acton. It's a repeat business out here, continuing.
Well, Aguadulce has quite a few movie ranches. And you know, if they're contained within the ranch, a lot of people don't, you know, it doesn't affect everybody. But if they spread outside and it starts to affect people, I mean, maybe these businesses should have CUPs.
Tom, it shouldn't be a matter of whether it doesn't affect people. It should be that there are codes and rules and
There should be
regulations
Right,
that should be
standards.
enforced.
Right, but some of these places have been around for
But I agree.
years and years and years, and
You're
this is
gonna
part
take
of the
property
part of the
and make
community. A lot of
business
people that
on it.
live here own and operate those ranches.
Well, that's why there's two issues here. The minimum, the standards we want to set up,
Right.
and the efficacy of the land use and zoning designation of the properties. That's another thing that's a big discussion. That I would rather work on this first, because that's why this was not included in the motion that I made.
Part of the ordinance that I read is that any home business in the county area needs to get a permit and be approved and meet these standards. But filming has no standards and no permit, other than this little daily thing they pull out.
Right, so that, yeah, there's a
But
much
they can do it every
larger,
day.
there's a much larger discussion we have to have, I think, but let's get rolling on the
Yeah.
first bits
Let's try this.
and
let's try
find the
the-
system for
Well,
that.
we'll put more information together while heading off all of these permits and try to keep everyone in line with their parking. and
Dance,
lighting.
just dance.
If we can come up with an effective set of standards that gets followed, maybe the other
That'd
issues
be
are
the
not a
first
big
start.
deal.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
There was requirements within this ordinance that it said if you have a home-based
It's
business,
also
there
very,
was
this
required
is a
specific
movie community,
requirements.
a lot of people in the industry.
So,
Right.
So it's not,
I don't know, I'm gonna keep
I mean, there's-
plugging through it all.
Yep.
It's a lot of
Within our
reading.
community standards, you have to have an SUP.
I think.
You have a home-based business. You have to have an SUP for a legal home-based business. I have one, I had to get it. I was the first one in LA County. LA County entire to have a home-based business that was legal,
That's weird.
SUP. So, to me, if they've got repeated business in this Middleton ranch and they're doing, filming there repeatedly, and they've got sets that are permanent or semi-permanent or whatever, to me, they should have to have an SUP. Whoever owns that ranch should have to have an SUP.
Well, I think that there's some broad issues in that. And I personally would rather not opine
there.
on that at this moment,
Yeah.
especially when we have so much other low-hanging fruit we have to go after with the film
yeah.
industry, and have a broader discussion with more community. A lot of people in this town are film people. So, you know, I think we need to have them come in and talk about that, you know. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, but they won't.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, we have to try,
no,
right? So,
Yes.
When you put it out there and they see that it's a topic of conversation that may be affecting, you know, their industry,
They'll come.
They will.
Look, it's not a bad
And we have
industry.
to try anyway, so.
You
it's-
know, I worked in the industry for many years. They want to do a job. They're not trying to take advantage of anybody. It's just a process that needs to be improved upon. And we happen to be in a very desirable area for production companies. We have space and we're within the studio zone. So I think let's start with the standards and see if we can, get some cooperation, and that would be step one.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Chris, for taking this on. All right, we're gonna move on to Southern California Edison, Liz Seelman, and she's here to talk to us about modifications or improvements to the Vincent substation.
Well, thank you for having us this evening on the agenda. My name's Liz Seelman. I'm with Public Affairs for SCE. I have a team here of folks that are part of the project. We're passing out the PowerPoint, which, because of the sensitivity of the discussion and what's going to be taking place at the substation, we're going to ask for the PowerPoints back at the end of the presentation, if that's okay. I want my colleagues to introduce themselves real quick, so I'll start on this end.
Hi, I'm Sveto Garcia. I'm an electrical engineer for Southern California Edison. I'm an electrical responsible engineer for these types of projects for Southern California Edison.
Good evening, Acton Community, Acton Council. My name is Rodney Burglary. I'm a civil engineer for Southern California Edison.
Jerry Euler, I'm a regional security manager for Edison.
And what you see in front of you, Vincent Substation, as you all are very aware of where that is, on HIP 14, we have federal and state mandates for security improvements. And that's what we're going to discuss, and we're going to start with Jerry. And
Wait, you see Vincent on the other side of 14, Vincent's on this side, or, on the
other side of the freeway.
Yeah.
You're in Acton.
I see what you're saying, all right, yeah.
So we'll start with Jerry with corporate security and
What I want to talk about is if you go to it's two-sided, so 1, 2, 3, page 4 would be one that looks like this. This is basically what caused all this. I caused it right away, but what started it was the federal government mandating these standards. It's through FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Council. Not loud enough. And Edison, I'm sorry. And Edison is mandated to make these improvements in security like every other utility in the United States. And so what started this, as I said, was what people refer to as the Metcalf incident. And Metcalf was a large substation in the PG&E area just south of San Jose, right off the 101 freeway. If you've ever gone up there about 20 miles this side of San Jose, you'll see it down to your left there. And on the 16th of April in 2013, an unknown number of people, at least 2, they started this incident by cutting communications lines outside the substation, down in vaults in 2 different places. And part of what they cut with the telecommunications were called the SCADA lines, which allows PG&E to control their substations up the line electronically. And so they cut those lines, which meant that they lost their ability to stop a cascading type of event from one substation to another, at least partially. It could have been worse than it was. And then at least 2 people fired approximately, they found 100 shell casings of 7.62 rounds that they impacted 17 different transformers, major 500 kV transformers. And what they did is they shot the radiators on them in a position where it allowed the fluid to leak out, and they overheated and caused in excess of $15 million in damage. So the bottom line to this whole thing is they've never determined why it was done, who did it. It's still an active FBI investigation. But because of this, it's kind of what got this started. We're now under these standards to make sure that doesn't happen to Vincent and other major substations in our system.
So, I'm confused, was this local in California or the Boston bombing?
No, I didn't do this, so I'm not sure why they put that. I guess they're showing the closeness of 2 major terrorist type events, but it was in San Jose area, PG&E. Any other questions?
So just to continue on, so as a result of Metcalf, the federal and state gave some mandates to the utilities across the United States. We're on this page right now. So the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission issued an order which directs North American Electric Reliability Corporation, NERC, to develop a physical security reliability standard. On July 17, 2014, NERC SIP standard 014 was issued, requiring utility companies to demonstrate that they have taken steps to address physical security risks and vulnerabilities related to the reliable operation of the bulk electric system. And that's the large 500 kV type systems, which Vincent is. So as a result of this standard, Southern California Edison has identified critical substations, if rendered inoperable or damaged as a result of physical attack, could result in instability to the electric grid. So to the next page, the top heading says 500 kV Vincent substation. So a major Vincent substation, it's a major component of delivering wind generation from the Tehachapi Wind Resource Area, TWRA, and the only major connection to PG&E for increased reliability in the western region of North America. It services many customers in the local community, and it's a high voltage facility that can be subject to physical attacks, as similar to what happened at Metcalf Substation and PG&E. So the next page is going to go, now we're going to go into what, a little bit of what we're proposing to do for the substation, again, to increase the physical security as well as the reliability for just the general area as well as the North American grid. So if you go to this page with the overall aerial bird's eye view of Vincent Substation, there's a couple points and leaders there that point to a couple key things. So over here on Angeles Forest Highway, and around the substation, let me take a step back. Around the entire substation, we are proposing a minimum 10-foot high block wall around the substation. Because of what happened at Metcalf, there was Metcalf had a chain link fence around its substation, and the perpetrator, the criminal, went with a high-powered assault rifle, fired 100 rounds through the chain link fence, hit 17, as you heard from Mr. Jerry Euler there, hit 17 critical pieces of equipment. So the reason why we're proposing the block wall is to prevent that from happening to our critical facilities. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
And in my opinion, the block wall is going to be irrelevant and not prevent the same type of attack based on the mountains that are within range.
So
actually, yeah, this was an issue that the town council raised in the tri-tip proceeding. One person with shoulder-fired missile, take out those transformers, and you're.
So correct. I know there's that thought of somebody with a high-powered, you have the American sniper shooting from 1,000 or plus yards away.
No, we're talking a few hundred feet.
Yeah.
Correct. So the wall itself, from our analysis, minimizes the opportunity for them to look at the critical assets. Yes, there are areas, it's in a mountainous area, there are areas around the substation that you can see the substation, but from a distance determined by our corporate security folks, that distance with that 10-foot wall minimizes that opportunity. Yes, it can still happen, but again, we're trying to deter, we're trying to minimize the perpetrators from even thinking about it. So just to continue, so there's on the north side of our substation along Angeles Forest Highway, there's a dirt berm that has a clear line of sight into the substation. We're going to be reducing that slightly to allow for the wall as well as minimizing the line of sight into the station. The main entrance along Angeles Forest, that'll be modified slightly. The gate at the bottom of our station will be moved up to discourage vehicles from actually driving down. And what I mean by that is we have large vehicles that go down that may not belong into the station. Well, we're gonna, before they go down, we're gonna design an entrance where they can have an opportunity to turn around before they actually go down, because if, once they go down and if they're in no man's land, they have to go into the substation, we're gonna try to mitigate that by providing that entrance to the top, and we're able to figure out if they do belong to the substation or not. Again, the proposed 10-foot high block wall around the entire station, and the gates won't be chain link gates, they're gonna be wrought iron steel gates, again, to deter vehicles from crashing in, wanting to crash in. Yes, sir.
Have you guys determined a wall design yet? Is it block, is it concrete, is it going to be decorative concrete like you see on the freeway?
So it'll be a CMU block. It'll be a CMU block with, I apologize, it's skipping my head. It's a rough finish. It's not the smooth finish. It's a
split face?
It's a split face, there you go, sir. Yes. So it's a split face finish. The color hasn't yet been determined, but we can work with the local community, the county, to make sure it meets the community aesthetics.
And make sure you have matching paint, because it'll be tagged.
And it is a general concern in the area of Southern California. It's a, high, graffiti area, just Southern California. So we do have that at our stations. We do have mitigations for that with our facilities folks. Yes.
Any plans for landscaping?
Well, no, that's, where is the landscaping? Tri-tip required all of this that you have landscaping now is going to be gone. So
for security reasons, we've had to get rid of the tall trees, because the trees can be used to climb over walls and can be used as ladders. I know you mentioned TRTP, the mitigation, because of the chain link fence, they mitigated it with trees around the station, so.
they're just now starting to find it.
Correct. So in lieu of the trees, the wall would create that visual, I'm gonna say, visual block into the substation.
You know what? This town council spent several weeks at hearings, and we want our landscaping. That's a big issue here, and as you heard tonight, we're having a heck of a time getting these industrial facilities to comply with their zoning ordinance. I get you don't think you have to comply with zoning ordinance if it's wrong, because it's not discretionary, it's ministerial. So we need to have landscaping here.
So we'll take note.
Can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
And this is from previous experience. I used to work in a nuclear weapons storage facility on a large base, and the wall would be a great idea, and that would satisfy you guys. And I know it's an extra expense, but what if you came 10 foot off the wall or 12 foot off the wall, and then put up a chain link fence and then landscape that entire fence area, and you would have a 10-foot buffer zone.
So,
So you're suggesting a second wall, so the actual wall.
A second fence that you can landscape.
And then a fence.
Yeah, you put your wall up, but then come 10 foot outside of that, put another fence up around the whole perimeter. You have a second buffer, and there you can put your landscaping, and,
So we'll note that suggestion, and we're also noting the landscape.
And at that point, you might be able to go with a cheaper design on the block wall, use a cheaper material to compensate for the fence and the landscaping, because the wall's gonna be just for security, but it's not gonna be seen.
Sure. So, any other questions before we get to the next slides, which are, yes, ma'am.
Are you guys gonna be sending out notifications to the residents around there when you start doing all this with all that heavy equipment and digging and everything? I mean, we just went through all of that noise with all your wires, and now we've got all those giant pole towers and the lights and everything. So, I mean, are you guys gonna have consideration, or is it gonna be like what we just went through?
Oh, yes, I'm sure. I mean, we'll work with our local public affairs. We'll work with our local public affairs representative to provide notification to the residents.
The short answer is yes.
Yeah, we'll use these
Yes,
meetings.
we'll absolutely use notifications. In terms of a general timeline, can you share any?
So our
At least
goal.
in terms of the mandate.
Well, Mike, what about all the other structures? I mean, we've got 500 kV, 300 foot tall towers running all the way through town. So you put a wall, basically like taking grandma's shoes off at the airport. You put a wall to protect that substation. Everything else is completely unprotected. So
Yeah.
you've moved potential areas of attack from your precious substation to the 500 kV, 300-foot tall towers that run right through all our homes in our areas.
So part of that.
Let's not forget the lighted towers.
The lighted towers.
Well,
yes.
Beautiful out our window.
We're gonna
Red
get to
flashing
that.
stupid lights.
So to answer part of your question, what was hit at PG&E was a critical piece of equipment that can't necessarily be replaced.
Right, which is still, I mean, I'm not a security expert, but come on, you're still not protected with a 10-foot.
Understood.
You're keeping low-level criminals out of there, but anybody doing something serious would have
You
trouble.
just have to remember that they're being mandated.
No, I
These are
understand.
federal and state mandates.
But we have concerns about protecting one thing and possibly moving the threat somewhere else.
If I can just say one thing though, if someone, and I agree with you, we've talked about this, and the towers go all through the desert, you can take out a tower, we can put a tower back up in 24 hours normally. Like you said, if those transformers go out, it takes years to get new ones. Part of this whole thing is that we and other companies have been mandated to have a certain number of these positioned in different parts of the state, but there's only a limited number. In that one instance, they took out 17.
How many transformers do you have here? 500 kV and what each one?
We have 6 and 1 spare unit.
500 kV?
Yeah.
And is your project subject to any environmental review, any normal, process that, any other project would have to go through?
So as far as we have our internal environmental team reviewing the project, because the substation is within already disturbed limits of work. A lot of times we're exempt from the environmental process that, for example, TRTP went through, because TRTP was a new project, went through undisturbed land.
There's still noise. If you're gonna have diesel equipment out there,
Helicopters.
So fortunately for this project, we're not touching like TRTP huge towers. Again, it's just chain link fence to a block wall mainly. So it's typical construction, not the major equipment.
What's your timeline?
So our timeline to get this completed is December of 2018. Oh, yes, sir.
This is it? This is security?
That's
your
So I think it's fair to say that there is more that's going to be taking place?
So, yes.
We can't do about it, or?
Well, there is additional tech, because
I've got a 16-foot extension ladder, and I can climb over your fence.
We are mitigating with additional cameras. We are mitigating with technology, shot technology that senses or hears shots and where they come from. So we are mitigating with additional technology,
Okay, well,
not just walls.
Be quiet and then do landscaping, and we'll all be happy.
well, and no lights. We kind of like light,
Not all of
the
this will
Berlin
be
Wall.
happy.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
Are there lights on here?
So there will be lights, but they're motion censored lights. So if there is somebody within the vicinity of our substation, it's a motion sensor.
There's a road like 4 feet.
Yeah, we're not, we set it strategically, right? We're not gonna put a sensor where the cars are gonna pass, so.
Yes.
For horses.
There's technology.
There's a lot of horses out there.
Yeah, there's also, there's an equestrian trail in the back, so all that goes into the analytics when it's getting set up.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah, who's paying for all of this?
You are.
We are?
So yes, I mean.
Are our rates gonna go up to pay for all this?
I think it's important to understand that this isn't a project that Edison just wanted to go out and do. This is all code that we're mandated to do. And you brought up a good point where we brought up that same point when we were on the drawing board meeting with other utilities across the nation. Hey, I can go knock out a tower, take out this station, this and that. But the thing is that we are mandated, and it clearly states that we do have to do something to protect this. And if we don't do something, and then something like MECAT happens, I mean, we're not doing this everywhere. I think hopefully everyone understands that this is our bread and butter. This is as big as it gets. And this station is pretty special. So we're, Acton, you guys are very popular, and I really enjoy this meeting out here, man. We're not gonna be filming any movies in there, I guarantee that. But I mean, it's really, we wanna make sure, I know you guys are frustrated with TRTP, I keep hearing that other project, and, I'm sorry about that, but we're a whole different team here, and we really wanna create a better relationship where it's not an adversity relationship, where we wanna be able to help you out with that.
Okay.
With landscaping, but we also have those standards that you want to implement for certain people. We also kind of have to implement those for our standards for our whole territory, because then we have different people come to different areas and they're not trained properly.
Well, I appreciate it, because this town council went to great effort in the tri-tip proceeding. And for example, at the Antelope substation, you managed to go back and get the tri-tip decision modified to eliminate the landscaping. We made sure that that did not happen here. So that is, if you intend to not put landscaping in, or screening landscaping, I mean, if you're gonna put in 5-inch bushes, that's not landscaping. And so